and come back on. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, you're in for a treat. Benedict!
She said I was an overachiever. I couldn't make her in the face as a fever. Every boy who's a night.
He's a leader. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, band. Please give it up for Loud and Swain, these guys, my brothers. Thanks, guys. Hi. Hi. How you doing? Good. Wow. Well, it's nice to sit down. When you miss a day, you go right into it. You don't get any breaks. So this is nice. It's nice to sit down with all of you and have a quiet moment together. Yeah, it's nice to be here. We were here several years ago, and I think we did a tour. Yeah? Where did we go? Did we go to the racetrack? No. You don't remember you were at the tour? You just remember I did it. And not the tour. But I did a tour. Huh? Cleveland. I didn't do a tour of Indianapolis? No. I should have. Because I don't remember anything, so it'd all be new to me. But the racetrack's what I'd like to see. Wow, let's plan that tour. Also, I want to know more about that big tower that's downtown. That tower? Monument. Monument Circle. Sure, that makes sense. It's a monument. It's a circle. It's a great name for it. I approve. So yeah, Old Monument Circle. All right, let's get into some questions. Do you have questions for me?
Yes, my name's Jason. This is my first convention. Thank you for coming. Pleasantries, etc.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So my question is, when you are on set acting in between the lines, what goes on through your head? Are you thinking in character, or do you do more of a method acting type thing?
That's a good question. I mean, you're thinking, ideally, it's a good day and you're really in it, you're thinking in character. And, that's why memorizing the lines is so important. You need to get the lines so in your system that you're not thinking, what's my next line? You're actually thinking, what do I want in this situation? What do I want from this person? And I just always really try to listen to what they're saying. And that usually motivates me then for whatever my next line is. You have to get inside the scene and know the script so well that you know what your character wants and where you're going. So yeah, ideally, that's where I'm at. And if I ever have problems doing that, because Lord knows it all happens really quickly, and sometimes you get the lines the day before and you just, I just go back to listening. You try to actively listen to the person. But that's, yeah. So I guess, I always wanted to be method. I always tried to be method. Sometimes it's harder than other times to achieve that. Like with Supernatural, I'm not God, I'm nowhere near God, I don't have God's powers, so I can't go total method. Method acting is the idea that you access, your sense memory of what this is like. If I'm playing like a drug addict, then in a method I would go and do drugs, and you know what I mean? I've been rehearsing for the role for years and I've never gotten it, but you're whatever, method actors, if they're playing a homeless person, they'll go sleep on the streets, you know what I mean? And I've always tried to do that kind of thing for roles, but with somebody playing God, you have nothing really to access, and then I've read some books. So you have to access another part of yourself that's, as close to that as it can be. For me, it's being a father. That's the closest thing, is being a father, being Santa Claus. You know what I mean? Truly, that's the most magical thing you have as a parent. It's a gift, like fucking Santa Claus. But anyway, so that, I don't know, that's what I access for that. And Yeah, so I don't know, I hope I'm answering your question. Just like, that's what it is for me. It's listening and it's knowing the line so well that you're in it. You don't have to think, oh crap, what's the word I said? Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's one of the reasons I really love improvising and improv. And one of the most fun experiences I've had acting was on a show called Head Case that not a lot of people saw, but it was on Stars, and we did like 3 seasons. And it's a funny show, and what was fun about it is it was all improv. So you knew, like in the scene, you're having coffee with someone, and you've got to try to convince them to do something. But that's kind of all you knew, and then you write the scene as you're speaking, and then they come in, they refine it, they'll get to that sooner, don't say that, skip that part, try this, you know, and then you 8 takes later you'd have a scene. And what I loved about it is that you didn't have lines to memorize. Your only choice as an actor was to be in the moment. So anyway, that's what I'm always trying to achieve, even when there is a script, just being in the moment.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I work at a doggy daycare. I wanted to know if you could own any breed of dog, what would it be and what would you name it?
Aw, well, gosh, that's an appropriate question because I unfortunately just lost my dog, which really sucks. Yeah, Lily, and she was a great dog, and so she was an Australian cattle dog, like a blue heeler. Yeah, and she was an awesome dog. And before Lily, I had a collie, a border collie. So like both of those dogs had something in common. They were both, like me, very needy and sensitive, but like extremely loyal. And I just really loved both of those dogs so much. And I think I'd like something maybe in that family. So let's just go ahead and say, let's say an Australian Shepherd. So which is a little bit blue heeler and a little bit border collie, right? So an Aussie. And let's say it's a girl, and her name is Doris.
Love that.
That's what I want. I want an Australian Shepherd named Doris. And she could be she should be a rescue. I'd like her to be maybe, you know, like both my last 2 dogs are both rescues, and so yeah, so Doris is going to be a rescue. She's 4, 5. And we have just an awesome time together. Thank you, and thank you, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm not really looking, I'm like, not quite there yet, but I will be soon looking. I like having that relationship with an animal.
Hi, I'm Olivia, and
Hi, Olivia.
I just had a question. Did you know that you were going to end up playing God? And if not, what was your reaction to that?
That's right. So I didn't know. I didn't know at first. I just thought I was a prophet, and I didn't know until the end of season 5. So Eric Kripke, his last show, the guy who created Supernatural, his last show that he wrote before he left the show was Swan Song. It was kind of his love letter to Supernatural, and it's in season 5, and in that. I'm narrating the episode, and then I'm wearing all white, and I go away. And I read that in the script before I went to shot it, and I was like, I had the same reaction you probably had when you watched it. I was like, wait, where did I go? Why did I poof? Why am I poofing? I don't know what this means. And Eric called me, and he was like, so you're God. I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, that's the good news. The bad news is, don't prepare to come back to the show, because I can't really have God being a character on the show, like, you know, coming in and saving the day all the time. And I was like, okay, so this went from the best phone call ever to the worst phone call ever. But he was like, you know, but I don't think he even thought at the time the show would go on that much longer. But he was like, you know, if fans ask you at conventions, don't tell them that you're God. Let them have their own theory on what it is. So then I went on. I did a lot of conventions during that period. I wasn't on the show, and people would ask, and people started to have. Then there was kind of a faction. Some people thought I was God, some people didn't. And I kind of say like, I don't know. Maybe. I think maybe, but I don't know. And then in season 10, Robbie Thompson wrote the 200th episode, the musical episode. And that's when Robbie Thompson's such a great writer because he's actually a fan of the show. Like he writes like a fan of the show. And I think he's written some of the best episodes. He wrote Baby, he wrote the episode Baby. He wrote, he wrote the 200th. He wrote Don't Call Me Shirley. That's all him. And so anyway, he knew that there was this thing, and the fans had theories, but he also knew that Eric always thought it was God, so he had me come in and do that cameo at the end, where, and that was kind of the tip of our hat a little bit, that Chuck is God. But I experienced everything like you guys experienced when you're watching it. Like, and then in season 11 they brought me back, and I got to sort of come out as God, and that was cool. But then and then when I went bad at the end of season 14, I'm reading that script and I'm going, oh shit! I was like, oh wow, something's off with Chuck. What's going on here? It's not the Chuck I knew before. And then I was like, oh no, this is the end. This is the end of what? What? Oh man, people are gonna hate me. People really liked me, and now they're not. So anyway, but season 5 is when I knew. Are you satisfied with that?
I am. Thank you.
Hi, I was wondering, what was your favorite thing about Supernatural?
My favorite thing? Well, gosh, so many things. I mean, Supernatural changed my life. Through doing all these conventions through the years, all the actors have become very close. And, one of my many favorite things about doing the show is the after show stuff that's gone on. Doing these conventions, traveling the world with these people that I've become really best friends with. People that I never even worked with on the show that I've become such good friends with, and traveling around the world and having these experiences. That's been amazing. And then the show itself, my favorite thing really was being able to be relevant throughout the whole run of the show. I was lucky enough to be able to come back, and even though I was hated at the end, it really felt good. It was a great experience to actually be such an integral part of the show even when the show ended. So I feel lucky that I got to experience it towards the beginning and then all the way to the end. It's been the whole thing was amazing. And now I'm watching it for the first time, doing this podcast with Richard, and that's been awesome. And just when you thought that you've milked this job for everything that it was. Richard and I were asked to host this podcast. Richard Spate and I, this rewatch podcast, where we watch an episode from the beginning, chronological order, and then we do a podcast about it, and we interview someone who had to do with that episode or something like that. So I'm sitting down and watching Supernatural from the beginning for the first time ever, and it's really good. You guys are right. You're right to be here. So I don't know. I'm all over the place answering your question, but yeah, I have so many. It's like saying what's your favorite thing about your spouse. It's like there's so many things I love about it. It's really changed my life. I've had life-changing experiences doing these conventions, and as an actor, I got to play everything from a real likable loser to a real hateful, powerful dude, and that was a blessing. To be able to do that as an actor, it's super fun. All of it, man, all of it. Thank you. So I'm watching the show, and it's great. And there are things about it too, where, like in the second episode, when Dean says, this is a family business, and I was like, oh, that's family business. You just said it. And then he's like, hunting people, chasing things, and saving people, hunting things. Saving people, hunting things. That was great. That was awesome. and what else? Yeah, and the bed. You know, I know I'm still on season 1, so like, you know, Monster of the Week kind of things. But it's fun. I love it. It's great. Every and the boys are so young, and it's gonna be weird when I finally, to me, it's gonna be, I'll be like, whoa, why am I in this? This is weird. But yeah, but it's super fun. It's really great. Really good show.
Hi, my name's Ariel, and you kind of mentioned that it was, you were surprised when Chuck has his turn and just becomes that megalomaniacal dickbag. So I was...
Words hurt.
Just like, I can separate it in my head. It's
Thank
cool.
you. Okay.
I was wondering, because even when we first meet Chuck as God, he's still kind of a dork. So I was wondering what that transition was like, going from kind of him kind of being like awkward in his role as God, because he's still in the kind of the just like, I'm Chuck, I'm wearing a hoodie.
Right.
Write a lot
That's great
into,
imitation.
you know, right the world.
Yeah. I don't remember that line in particular, but yeah. I'm Chuck, I'm wearing a hoodie. So, you know, like I said, I always, when I played, when he was sort of out as God, season 11, even the dorky God, who's like just eating Chinese food or whatever, you know, he's, to me, I was still being a dad, you know, and in season 11, God was just more of a like, you know, bad dad jokes kind of dad, right? Like, dad, you know, just dorky dad. But that was sort of how I could personify that entity. And when he had to have little bits of being strict, he was like a strict dad, you know. And having a really bad fight with his aunt, with his sister, or something. But anyway, so and then when I turned, it was just all bad dad. It was just like all just strict, super strict, unfair father. And you know, I have my issues with my own father, so like that came into play, I think, when I was playing. But yeah, that was sort of the transition for me. I kept going back to what it's like to be a father, and then ultimately what it's like maybe to be a bad, egocentric father who's a narcissist. Really, because that's kind of what God became, the ultimate narcissist, and just selfishly, just thinking for himself, not really thinking of these things that he created as humans, but just like games that he could play, boards he can wipe clean. Yeah, and then ultimately he just wanted it to be done. He was just done. And so that I kind of went to that bad dad, dorky dad to bad dad. The story of Chuck with a hoodie. It's funny because Chuck kind of dresses kind of like I do when I dress casually. Every time they like, so we're thinking this with the Converse and the jeans with the hoodie and a jacket over it. I'm like, makes sense to me. That's actually what I'm wearing. You know? Yeah, I always liked the way Chuck dressed, and you know, so not godly. The closest he got to godly was like a suit jacket over the jeans and Converse. But yeah, I know there are different theories and different opinions about Chuck as God, and some people will say like, yeah, I never liked you as God, or you know, I didn't like that they did your character or whatever. I don't know. I think ultimately it was. I thought it was kind of a neat way to end the show. For me personally, I just think like the ultimate, their final battle was against God himself. I mean, that's epic. So I kind of liked it. So there.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
I was wondering, you've done your Bachelor podcast for quite a few years. I was wondering if anything for reviewing those episodes has helped with reviewing Supernatural.
Certainly doing podcasts, doing the Bachelor podcast and doing the Kings of Con podcast with Richard has really set me up to be ready to host the Supernatural podcast. But yeah, I mean, so I guest star really on a podcast that my friend comedian Arden Marine does a podcast about The Bachelor, and she knew that I guilty pleasure. I watched The Bachelor, and it's a horrible show, but I can't help but watch it, and so she has me come on. Unfortunately, like with The Bachelor, what's tough is that like now I gotta watch The Bachelor. You know what I mean? That's the difference between that and Supernatural. Supernatural is like it's fun that's my assignment to watch. I have to watch Supernatural. That's kind of fun actually because I'm watching my friends, and it's fun to see their work, and it's fun to see how this show started out, and it's such a part of my life that it's kind of gratifying to have to go back and watch it. But The Bachelor is like, sometimes I just want to take a season off and like wash myself clean of it because it's so gross. But now I have to watch it for work. And my kids won't watch it with me. Ruth won't watch it with me. She's like, oh no. And so I watch it by myself, and it's sad because I have to wait till everyone goes to bed to watch it because no one will watch it. We watch TV together at night. That's what we do. So we watch our shows, and then the kids go to bed. Ruth goes to bed, and I watch The Bachelor 1 in the morning. But so it's tough. It's tough because it's hard to watch, and you can't even I don't even have if I watch it, if I want to watch the night of. If for some reason I'm in a circumstance where we do a podcast a day later, it goes on to Hulu, and I think it's Hulu. It's on Hulu, a rerun, and I can do this 10-second thing, and you don't really, you get the highlights if you just 10-second, and you can watch the whole thing, and it's 3 hours long every episode. So that's what I got to do. I got to watch The Bachelor to do the Bachelor podcast. So that's a major difference. Whereas Supernatural is ooh, I get to watch another Supernatural. This is fun. Hookman, or whatever it is. It's exciting. I'm seeing that for the first time, and it's like a Hookman episode. I just watched The Benders. Finally, watched The Benders. I mean, that's like an epic. But that's Chuck Shirley has a poster of The Benders in his house. So that's The Benders, and I had the poster. So anyway, the Scarecrow too. I had a Scarecrow picture. And Bugs. I had seen Bugs at Batista watched Bugs again. That was anyway, but The Bachelor I don't feel that way about. The Bachelor's oh god. This was an especially bad season. The guy was pretty bad. He was a Missouri boy too, Missouri, go Missouri, but anyway, I hope I answered. How did I do? Okay. Not great?
You did fine.
What did you say?
I still said that you did fine.
I did fine. Okay, so I got a B. Wow. Maybe I could see after class, you can tell me what I might have done to get that A.
Sure.
Okay. Gee, I don't feel like you have a lot of hope for me as a student. Sure, you can come by or not come by. I got my office hours or...
Adam and David.
Yeah, just my best. You did fine. Did I get a B? Sure, I'll give you a B. All right.
Hi. My name is Julian. First of all, I want to really thank you because you have a huge love for music, and I have as well, but I've never known where to go anywhere with it. And listening to music helped me find myself and ended up helping me even coming out with a song of my own. So I want to thank you for that.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you. Thanks for saying that. That's awesome. I love
But I also, my question is about, speaking of podcasts, about the Supernatural Then and Now. What is it like going through all of it since you said that you haven't seen any of the episodes before, going through it and just watching it, seeing it from start to when you came in?
It's so wild. I mean, I've been saying, it's really freaky because, I mean, so many of the episodes, I feel like I know them already because we've talked about them a lot. And like I said, a lot of props in Chuck's house. Even when I went to Becky's house in season 15, and she had all that stuff up that she was collecting. So many of these episodes are in that because these were the books that Chuck was writing. With the cheesy covers, the dude with long hair and his shirt off, and so anyway, so it was, a lot of them I feel like I've seen them already, but I really haven't. So I don't know. It's like finding a Led Zeppelin album and not knowing who Led Zeppelin is and putting it on and going, oh my God, these guys are pretty good. Like finding the Beatles, and putting on Abbey Road and being like, okay, now what's this? Oh my goodness, this is, do people know about this? And that's kind of how I feel about Supernatural. Like, I really haven't sat down and watched it, where I'm like, I'm going like, because there are things I honestly don't know yet. Like the dad, I don't know what's happening with Dad yet, and Missouri Mosley was in it already, and then she knows him. And at the end, it's like, we just don't know where he is and why. When are they going to find him again? And what's going? Why are moms burning on the ceiling? Why did his girlfriend burn on the ceiling? And then he just met a dude whose mom also had burned on the ceiling. Who's putting people on the ceiling and lighting them on fire? I don't know. So there are things like that I don't know. I literally don't know. This is not something anyone ever told me, so that's fun to experience that for the first time. And then there are things too where I'm like, and I can't say all this on the podcast because it's not about me, but right now it is. It's my panel, so I can tell you. There are things where I'm like, this is stuff God is at work here. This is me. I'm involved in this somehow, right? I'm involved. I'm doing this. This is when it was good, and I was creating this and going, oh, I love these guys, and I'm gonna throw them another Monster of the Week. Ooh, look at what they do there. So I'm kind of watching it as Chuck, going, those are my boys. So that's cool too. That's cool too. Yeah, I tried to say that something like that on the podcast, and Rich was like, what? Huh? What? And then I was like, no, never mind, nothing. But yeah, there's just things in it. I just feel like yeah. Anyway, I'm excited for when I come on in season 4, too. That's gonna be fun. And when Richard comes on, just comes on like season 2 or 3. 2? That's coming up. So it's all very exciting. And I think Jim Beaver's about to come on, right? He's season 1.
Do you really want spoilers?
No, but the thing is, I know the ultimate spoiler. I killed the show. I know this. And also, Dean's already almost died twice, and we're halfway through season 1. But I know he lives. I know that he lives. Until he doesn't. I know this. I know all this. What? It's not, why is that boo? I didn't do that. They already got me. Blame Alex for that. I was on Alex's watch. They left me out in the middle of nowhere to die on my own alone. That's what happens. That's what happens. Anyway, season 1 is super exciting, and everything's nice. Everybody's, in that. They don't hate me yet. So anyway, it's been super fun, and I can't wait. And I haven't even really gotten to like what fans consider the best episodes, really. But I've seen some great ones. There've been some great season 1 has some great episodes. Iconic. What's another one I just watched? I was like, that was a really good episode. The one with the preacher and the. Yeah, Faith. Yeah, that was a good one. That was trippy. I mean, and that's all the things that really scare you too, right? Like, nothing weirder than like faith healers. That's weird. Guy with a hook. That's weird. Oh, and the scarecrow. That was freaky. When Dean gets up on the ladder and he's like super close, and it's really a person, and you're like, oh, Dean. But he's so brave. Isn't he? He's just so brave. He reminds me a little bit like Han Solo. He's that kind of, you know, funny, brave. And then Sam, you didn't want to hold him. Ah, Sam. He's so tall, but he's just a kid trying to figure out what happened. You got a raw deal. And the two of them together, that relationship, they fight. They do fight. You think I'm joking, but I'm really not. I'm really into it.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I'm going to step away from Supernatural for a moment.
Okay, fine.
And ask you how it felt to kill everyone's favorite douche, Detective Douche.
On Lucifer? You're talking about when I went over to Lucifer and did the same thing. Oh, it's Benedict, right? He kills our favorite characters. It felt, you know, at that point it was kind of like I already had. It was like I already had a coke addiction, and someone was like, "Try this smack," and I was like, "Okay, great. I've already hated. I'll just go even further into that." I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my God!" Not only did I went on Lucifer and killed a beloved character, then I came back the season after to kill the show. To like literally try to kill, up until the last episode, I was gonna kill Lucifer and ruin everything. And I was foiled, but still the show ended and never came back. So I don't know what that says about me. And I feel like I'm not an evil person. But something about people who cast are like, yeah, that guy. Anyway, it was, in all honesty, it was so fun to work on Lucifer, and I become friends with some of those actors over the years, and to be able to work with them was great, and it was a super fun part. I mean, it's really true. Like, bad guys have the best lines. Like, it's kind of fun to play, and yeah, I get it. It felt good to be relevant at the end of that show, and it was really fun to then play Kevin. So Kevin's character then comes back and it gets inside my character, and so I go from this like French mercenary to like this guy who's kind of like, you know, uses his arms a lot, and he directed that episode, which was really awesome. So yeah, it was just a really fun experience, super fun. And that was a year ago, like right now, that we finished shooting that last episode. I just saw that online, that's why I said it. It's not like I keep tracking my own head. Yeah, so, but it was super fun. If you have not watched Lucifer, that's a fun show. And yeah, and it was really fun. I think a good, cousin of Supernatural in a way, that show, with the same characters. People are like, oh, did you play God on Lucifer too? I'm like, no, that was not me, but I was an asshole. It felt weird. We just went to Paris and did a convention, and so my character's French in Lucifer, so I have a French accent. And I felt very, people asked me about Lucifer, and I was like, no, I think a couple people were like, that told me my accent was good, and that was, they're probably lying, but it was like, it felt good to hear it, and but I felt really embarrassed, you know what I mean? Like, not worthy. I'm like, please don't have me do the accent. I'm not worthy, Because as it is, like in France, like they can tell that you're not French. No matter how much I try to speak in French, they answer me in English. You know what I mean? We were at a restaurant and I went to the waiter. and I was like, "Où est les toilettes? Where are the toilets?" And he was like, "Yes, you go right here. You're right." How did you know? How did you know? You didn't. I didn't. I'm not wearing a sign saying I'm American. Où est les toilettes? Right, you take this stairs. Let go! Come on, answer me in French. I speak French. Answer me in French. How do you know that I'm American? They know. They know. Anyway, thanks for that question. How did I do? Did great? Thank you.
Hi, my name is Taylor. This is my first convention, so I'm like really, really excited.
Oh, that's awesome.
But my question is, what is like your favorite behind-the-scenes moment while working?
On Supernatural?
Yeah.
Well, you know, when I did, when the episode Don't Call Me Shirley, and they had me sing Fare Thee Well at the end. And it was the last thing we shot in that set. And it was really something special. It was like, I was really on stage, I really had my guitar, I was really singing. We didn't go back and re-record it in a studio. This is where we recorded it. That was it. And there were several cameras going, and I just played the song. And that was it. It was like, I think we did a rehearsal, and then we just filmed it, and that was it. And from my point of view, you see the cameras, and it was like one camera kind of moving, and like the guy micing me with a boom, and then like the whole crew just like hanging out watching me perform. And this never happens on a TV show, not like this, you know? And so it felt like such a gift that Robbie wrote this episode and that I got to do this. But it was a real magical moment, and like, it was just one of those moments where like, you finished it, and I was like, it was like a goosebumps moment. Like, and everybody felt it. And you know, like lighting grips that I had never spoken to were like, that was really great, man. That was awesome. And it was like the highest compliment that they were feeling it too. It wasn't like, oh, get it over with, let's move on. It's like people actually took the time to sit and listen, and it as cool as it felt watching the episode, it felt that in the moment. And so I don't know, that's kind of a behind the scenes, just like that moment that I don't feel like I'll ever have it again. Like it was just a real special moment, and it was really felt like that on set. And yeah, that's just a special thing, special time. Yeah, and it's weird, you know, that song, you know, it's become like this, yeah, this moment that we all shared together in a way, all of us, and people that liked that episode. And, anyway, I don't know, this is one of those moments that just feels like it was bigger than me. I don't know. It felt really nice. Thanks.
You're welcome. That was actually my favorite episode. I kind of teared up a little. Because it gave me goosebumps too, because I'm a music major in college.
Oh, I love it. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, Robbie called me before he wrote it and was like, I'm thinking of having you play guitar and sing in this, because he knew that I sang, and I was like, oh man, love it. He said, that's okay with you? I'm like, yeah, that's incredible. And then he was like, I'm thinking Fare Thee Well is the song, which I knew from Inside Llewyn Davis, being Inside Llewyn Davis, the Llewyn Davis movie. And the reason we chose Fare Thee Well is because it has to be, we'd have to pay for it. But if it's over 100 years old, you don't have to pay for it. And Fare Thee Well is an old song. So that's why we could do that for free. So I thought that was funny. Because he was like, do you have any ideas of songs before he picked Fare Thee Well? And I was like, let me think. He was like, because I'm thinking Fare Thee Well because it's free. And I was like, oh, okay, great. But it actually works. It works. I always think that there's a line in it when like, there was a man who's long and tall, and I always think Jared. But in a serious way, I always do. Like, I knew a man who was long and tall, moved his body like a cannonball. Oh. Right? Anyway, it's always weird when you just say the lines out loud. Is that what it is? But yeah. So anyway, I was thinking about Jared. Poor Sam. Just want to hold him. Anyway, so yeah, thanks for your question. That's awesome. I keep forgetting there are so many new people. When I come out stage this morning, like, hey, I'm Rob. And I assume that you've all been here and we're just like continuing going, doing it again. But like most of you actually haven't been here. A lot were checking the program, like, who's this guy again? Did he have glasses on the show? Is there a program? Is it really a program? Oh, I never seen that. Anyway, so yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm I'm Gina. I am asking a question about the TV show Psych.
Okay.
So we were supposed to ask you if they sang you happy birthday.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. This is good. It's healthy to talk about it. So when we were in Vegas a few weeks ago, Tim Robinson was here, and he was on stage, and he was saying that all their favorite guest stars, they would sing "Happy Birthday." Happy birthday when they did their final shot. All right, that's a wrap for our favorite guest star, and then they go "Happy Birthday," you know. And I was like, Tim, I didn't get "Happy Birthday" when I sang, and Richard thought that was the funniest thing he'd ever heard in his life, and it became the longest running bit on stage. We kept saying, because we kept going. Like there was like a you know, the guy holding the boom was like, "Is that it for Rob Benedict? All right, happy birthday." No, we're not. No, they didn't really earn it. So yeah, but then I heard yesterday that Jim Beaver didn't get happy birthday. So I think that Jim and I need to talk, and we need to form a club, or maybe write a letter, a very concerned, terse, but not angry letter to the production team at Psych and wonder why we did not get happy birthday. So I don't feel like it was complete.
Rob, the worst part about that for you though was that it actually was your birthday when you filmed.
It was actually my birthday. It wasn't, but what if it was? That's right, I forgot, that was part of it too, our joke. And I was like, that's the sad part of the whole thing, is it was my birthday. That's funny. Yeah. No, it's not. It wasn't my birthday. It could have been. It could have been. Anyway, thank you guys. Thanks for your questions. And thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Rob Benedict.
Oh.